everybody. This is Carolina Millan. Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Hustle. And I'm so excited today. We have a returning guest. I think this is our third interview altogether, second time on the podcast. Mr. Ray Higdon, best-selling author of the book, Time, Money, Freedom. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm very happy to have you. I'm very happy we're able to make this happen. And well, you wrote this book. How long ago did you publish it? Earlier this year, right?
My wife and I, we published that, and it's published by Hay House. It came out, I believe, last November. So I think November of 2020.
Oh, okay. And well, you sent me this copy. I think I got it at the beginning of this year, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is probably the reason I started my entrepreneurial journey was because I wanted to achieve exactly this,
Right.
Time, money, and location freedom. So
Yeah.
I would love to hear, first of all, how was the process of writing this book? Is this the first like quote unquote real book you write, or had you written like a thick book before, or is this the first one? How was the experience writing it?
Yeah. My first book was back in 2011, I think. About 10 years ago, and that was Vibrational Money Immersion, which is self-published. And then we have a couple more instructional, books. We have one on social media, one on leadership. But this is the first non-network marketing book that we've ever written. I mean, it edifies network marketing, but it's not about network marketing. And so it was definitely different than anything else we've ever done. And we wrote it together. We recorded it together on Audible as well. And it was intense. How long did it take? I think it took maybe 6 months of, just weekly calls, with, getting different help and advice from different people and compiling our thoughts, maybe a year, actually, maybe like 6 months of like creating the bones, and then 6 months of doing the actual content.
Yeah. See, that's why I still haven't written a book. I'm still intimidated by the process, but I have so many ideas, but nobody. Yeah.
The interesting thing that I found from this book is it contains a lot of the lessons that I've shared over the last 10 years on YouTube, on social media, et cetera. But there is something about a book that, people seem to absorb differently. And so, I figured that, the people that have followed me for a long time, they would read this and be like, oh yeah, I've heard this before. But it was a very different reaction. It was like, oh man, that was it like there was one point that maybe they didn't understand before, or had been too fast for them or something. And so it was a really cool reaction from, people that are just got introduced to us and people that have been following us for a while.
Yeah, that is always nice to hear. Like the reaction is not what you were expecting.
Yeah.
So what does time, money, freedom mean to you? What does that mean to you?
Yeah. To me, it's, just to make it as simple as possible, it's having a life congruent with who you actually want to be, and having the freedom to do what you want, where you want, with who you want. And, and that, from the surface, someone may hear that and think, oh, well, that sounds, selfish or whatever. And, at the end of the day, I found that most people that go to do, great things, or go and make a bunch of money or whatever, they love to give back. They love to be of service. So, my definition of success is a combination of growth and contribution, contributing to my family, contributing to my friends, contributing to my, tribe, my people that follow me, and contributing to society. Growth as far as me wanting to constantly, grow, whether it's growing from learning the programs that were created inside me that have me react to certain things and improving those, or learning a new skill.
Absolutely. I know I don't want you to like give away what the 10 rules are, right? But when somebody gets this book, we're gonna absolutely put the link in the description so people can get a copy. But if you could sum it up, like what are the biggest takeaways that people can get from reading this book?
Yeah. So, kind of the subheadline is, 10 simple rules to redefine what's possible and radically reshape your life. And that's what my wife and I have done. At one point, she was working at the makeup counter, and she, dealt with a lot of negativity from coworkers. Her boss was jealous of her and gave her a bad review, even though she had done an amazing job and had like a huge fundraiser and all kinds of stuff. I had worked my way up in the corporate world only to lose it all in real estate. So when real estate crashed, I got wiped out. So, not that long ago, I'm dead broke, personal foreclosure, $1 million in debt, went through a divorce, sleeping on my buddy's couch. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with my life. And, you fast forward to, now, the two of us, we've built an Inc. 5000 company. We've generated over $30 million in sales, mainly using online strategies. And, we get the privilege of helping a lot of people. So we had the task of, okay, what took us from these two jobs to building a, home-based business that has done the things that we've done, at this point, we're close to, I think we've raised like 900,000 for charity over the last 5 or 6 years. A lot of that being March of Dimes, and we did one for against human trafficking, and we raised some money for Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditation research, and so what are, if we had to break them down, which we did, what were the 10 major movers that helped us go from jobs that neither of us liked to a life that we love? That is, I don't like the word balance, because I think balance isn't the appropriate word, but blended is, right? Our life is greatly blended, with our family and our business. And so we broke those down. So some of the, examples, one that we get a lot of feedback on is called Pluck Your Weeds. And that's chapter number 2. And Pluck Your Weeds, I think people, if they hear it and they don't read the full chapter, they think maybe that's just get rid of the negative people in your life. And, that may be part of it. But Pluck Your Weeds is, you look at every area of your life and you identify what every area of my life is incongruent with who I actually want to be. So for example, one of the examples we share in the book, and actually this is an update since the book, is, we built our dream home, and it was amazing. And, I'd had a goal for, I don't know, 10 years or something like that to build in this one community. And the community was awesome. But it turns out that the school we wanted our daughter to go to was 45 minutes one way. And, with traffic, it's like an hour 15. And it's like, man, this sucks, doing this, twice a day. And so we plucked that weed. We sold that house for, a pretty decent profit. And now we golf cart her to school. So we hop on the golf cart. Nice. It's literally 5-6 minutes away. And we love our house here that we also built. And so, sometimes it's as complex and big as that. Sometimes it's identifying an emotional reaction that you have. And so, over the years, I've had a lot of, different challenge. Grew up in an abused home, grew up with self-worth issues, all my life, grew up sabotaging relationships all my life. And I was tired of being that person. I was tired of having that programming, and dug into, why do I have this programming? What can I do about it? And I've changed those things. And so, doing the work that people don't want to do is digging into, why am I this way? A lot of people, they label themselves introverts when they don't actually have the memory, because the body is protecting them, that they were just told to shut up as a kid. And so they actually became an introvert so that they wouldn't divert attention away from their siblings. And so there's a lot of programs that we have adopted as kids, but they run our entire lives unless we become aware of them. And so, Pluck the Weeds is actually a complex kind of concept, but we walk you through how to do that.
That's powerful. Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing the whole when you finished your dream house, and then shortly after you were already moving. I was like, "What happened?" Now I understand what happened.
Yeah, there were two reasons. One was the school. The school was the biggest for sure because it was just terrible. It was mainly my wife doing it. I mean, every day, an hour one way. And the second one is we didn't realize that neighborhood, although it was amazing, no kids. Like there's no kids anywhere.
Wow.
And so where we live now, like for Halloween, there's a train of 100 golf carts and kids everywhere. And, we wanted her to grow up with playing with the neighbor kids and, having close knit, relationships. And so those were the two reasons.
Mm. Well, I would say those are important reasons. So
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Awesome. So that's one of the 10 principles, you would say.
Yeah.
What's your next favorite chapter or your next favorite principle?
I would say my next favorite is rule number 10, which is make an impact. And, make an impact is at the end of the day, you feeling like you're contributing to helping someone else. And this is not out of, sometimes it's popular to teach that it's your responsibility or your duty or shame on you if you don't. And I'm just not of that energy. I think that's a terrible energy. And so I make an impact selfishly because it makes me feel good. I feel good at the end of the day. If I make an impact and someone thanks me, that makes Ray feel good. And so I have no problems saying that. I don't do it out of guilt, like, oh man, I've made money, I better give back. I do it because it makes me feel good. And it just so happens to impact other people. And so, this concept of making an impact, the most powerful one that it's taken me my whole life to really figure out is impacting the person you used to be. So there's been many versions of me. There's been the workaholic where I barely saw my kids. I have two older kids, right? So I have, 23, 21, and then 6 and 2, right? And so, the two olders, from the first marriage. And when they were kids, I just worked my face off. I mean, I was working 3 jobs. I barely saw them. And I just thought, no, that was my role. I mean, my dad didn't play with me. And so that's my job. I just go to work. And so I can help the workaholic person. I can help the person that doesn't trust people. So my whole life, I've kept people at bay because I share it in the book, but to keep it, nice and short, I confided in a guidance counselor about my abuse at home, how I was being, thrown out of bed every morning, stomped, kicked, thrown against the closet. And I share, my abuse all the way up, to the age of 12. So I share this with the guidance counselor and, long story short, she doesn't believe me, thinks that it's a cry for help. So she tells my parents and, that was a pretty bad day, but it was the day that I stopped trusting anybody.
Of course. And
so I decided that if I keep everyone at bay, then they can't hurt me. Well, that also means they can't really get to know you either. And no one, when someone's like that, which I was my whole life up until 2 years ago, probably, when someone's like that, no one translates it as, oh man, he must have been through some stuff. No, they translate it as, oh, what an egomaniac. Oh, he thinks he's better than everybody. And so, it's really sad that a lot of the people who've been through the most trauma end up looking like they're, self-centered or, egotistic or whatever, when really it's just, they've been hurt so bad. They just don't want to get hurt again. And it's not like I wasn't consciously saying, I don't want to let this person in because I don't want to be hurt. It's just a program that you run. You do things in a way to keep people away from you. And so I can help that person. I can help the person that is a super producer, but doesn't have close relationships and, and really wonders, is this all there is? And it reminds me of a quote, which I may butcher a little bit, but, Brene Brown, she says, you either live inside your story or you hustle your face off outside of your story to prove your worth. And that's what I did my whole life. My whole life is, look, did you see how good I did? And it was all to try to make me feel better, but none of it worked. So I hit, $1 million a year, I hit $1 million a month, I hit, multiple millions in a weekend. And none of that did anything for my self-worth. I hit the results. I got the interviews and I got the magazines and I got the awards and stuff, but none of that did anything to my self-worth because I still hadn't proved myself to everybody. So I was still doing this and not feeling fulfilled, not feeling good about where I was.